Good morning. Today is Monday, June the 18th, 2018, and it's been about a month since I've been here to see you guys. I hope everything's going well in your neck of the woods. It is a beautiful sunny day here this morning, although very cold. We still have not hit our summer weather. This is probably the coldest June that I can remember in a long time. We actually had snow the 4th of June, 5th of June here on the island portion of the province. Labrador, they still have snow. Yeah, it's not been great weather-wise. I'm drinking my morning coffee. I have a lot to talk about. Today's video might be on the longer side for one of my videos, only because I do have so much to go over. It has been a very, very busy month. All the crafting, all the things. I got hit with some kind of weird multi-crafting bug, and I just went with it. So, if you're new to my channel, thank you for dropping in and checking it out. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much to all my subscribers that have been following me and sticking with me. I think I've been doing videos now for like, I want to say, I think it was 3 years February past. So it's been a while. I'm still here, obviously. Still on Instagram at Pam's Crafty Corner. You can find me on Instagram. I do post daily pictures, like daily updates of whatever I've been crafting or whatever I've been up to each day on my Instagram. So let's get to it. I have a lot to go over. It's been busy. So it's the end of June. The school year is almost done here. My son is actually at school writing his first of his final exams this morning. He's got another exam this afternoon. And then I think he's got one a day for the rest of the week, which is pretty good. Daughter is off picking up the boyfriend from work, and she's working this evening. And this is my last day off this week, so I thought it would be a good time to pop in and say hello. So I've got so much to show you. Let's talk about first things first. Allie's trip. Allie was here in May month. I think she was here the 12th to the 17th of May. We had a fabulous time. I enjoyed every second of having her here. It was really, really phenomenal. We had a lovely trip, or she had a lovely trip. I hope she had a lovely trip. We did a lot. We were out of the house every day, hiking, going to the museum, out to my parents' house for Mother's Day and lobster dinner, and she ate all the things and tried all the things, and I think she really enjoyed her trip. We had a lovely day hiking, beautiful pictures. I took zero video. I took no video during Allie's trip at all. My intent was to possibly vlog a little bit while she was here, and I didn't have it in me. I just wanted to enjoy having her here and being in the moment, and we took some pictures. I don't know if I'm going to edit this video much, but if I do, I'll just throw some pictures in at the very end. Yeah, it was a busy trip, but we had a lovely time. She got in very, very late on a Friday night. We had a bite to eat when she got here. She got settled away. Saturday we did downtown St. John's and Signal Hill. We took an impromptu rock concert. My son plays in a band, and they had an all-ages show at a bar downtown St. John's. So I said, Allie, you want to go? Because we were downtown anyway. Yeah, sure, I'll go. So she was a really good sport about it. We went down and listened to some very loud music for about an hour. And then we left there, came home, had dinner, and stitched all evening into the wee hours of the morning. Sunday was Mother's Day. We got up. My husband made us breakfast, French toast with champagne and orange juice. We left, drove to my mom's, had a fabulous day out there, ate mussels and drank wine and had lobsters for dinner, fresh out of the ocean. The mussels were also fresh out of the ocean. My dad actually had them tied off the wharf across from where they live. And we went down to the wharf and he pulled them right up out of the water. He already had them in a basket. We took them and put them right in the pot at the wharf. Took them home, put them on the stove and cooked them. I started coming down with one of my famous migraines, but I lay down for a little while, nipped that in the bud real quick, and went on to enjoy the rest of our evening, which was great. And then the rest of the week was pretty much hiking or going to the museum. My mom came in and cooked homemade turkey dinner. And every single night we spent stitching until the wee hours of the morning, and it was lovely. So like I said, I'll try and include some pictures at the end. While Allie was here, she also brought me some gifts. I didn't pull up everything to show you because she brought me a lot of crafting stuff, and she knew I wanted to learn how to English paper piece. So she brought me a bag of scrap material, like quilting material, stuff that she had left over from other quilts, all kinds of different types of fabrics. And we sat down one evening and I showed her how to rug hook and she showed me how to English paper piece. So I'm hoping to start an English paper piece this month during the summer, because it's something I can stitch on. If I have the quilt pieces cut out, I can take them to work and stitch on them at night or stitch on them while I'm watching TV in the evening. So I'm really hoping to start that soon. But she did bring me some cross-stitch related things. And one of them, she knows how much my mother really has a thing for Elvis Presley. Really has a thing for Elvis Presley. And a couple years ago, my sister and I surprised her with a trip. And we took her to Tennessee. And we went to the Grand Ole Opry and Loretta Lynn's house. And the highlight of the trip for her was going to Memphis and actually going to Graceland and doing all the tours there and seeing all the Elvis things. So Allie kindly gifted me with, actually you're not going to see it if I have it in here, this Mystic Stitch that she had, which she had started. It came as a kit. She purchased it as a kit, so it is the actual hard copy of the pattern. It came with all of the floss, which is all here in the bag, and she started it on 18 count Aida, but this is all she has done. It's just the top, actually it goes this way, top left corner, up here, this part right here, just coming into his hair. So she's stitching this 2/1 on 18 count Aida, and that's what I'm going to continue it. I'm going to pick it up where she left off, and I'm actually going to stitch this for my mom and give it to her as a gift. My mom turns 70 this September. This will not be done for her 70th birthday, but I will stitch it for her and give it to her as soon as I can. Once I get a couple of other big pieces off my plate, namely my Wrecker Girls piece and Folk Witch for Jay, which are getting a lot of love, and they're getting done, and they should be finished soon. So Allie's trip was fabulous. I'm in the middle of trying to get ready now for my son's trip. He's leaving to go to Quebec for 5 weeks this summer. He leaves the 1st of July, and he doesn't come back until into the first week of August. My nerves are shot. They're gone. I'm so nervous about him going away. He's traveled before, with scouts and that sort of thing, but it's always been as a group and as their scouting group, and my husband being a leader, he's always gone, or his best friend's dad is gone because he's a leader as well. This is the first time that he's ever kind of packed up and gone away from home on his own. He's going to be living in dorm at the university in Quebec City. They have a lot of freedom, although they're not allowed to leave campus unless they sign out, because it's an actual French program that he's going there for. My kids have both done early French immersion. They've studied French since kindergarten in school, and they're both fluent. But this is a program that's offered for high school students to go and actually study French at the university in Quebec for 5 weeks. And it's a really good opportunity, and the program itself is paid for. It's a grant that you apply for, and if you're accepted, you get to go, and the parents just need to pay for your airfare and your pocket money, basically. So it's a really good opportunity for him to really expand his French, and I'm really pleased for him, but he's going to be living in a dorm, and he's got to like do his own laundry, and yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a really different experience for him, but really good, I think. So next thing on my list, I didn't even write out things. There was no notes. I just made like a little talk about this, little point so I wouldn't forget. Why don't we do my FFO first? Oh, first of all, the other thing, before Allie got here, my eye got fixed. I went to the ophthalmologist. Went in that morning. He did the surgery. I don't know if you can tell because my hair covers that eye really, but my eye is back to normal. Like, no swelling. The eyelid looks great. It's all healed up. I had a really lovely shade of eggplant purple eyeshadow for a few days, almost a week actually. I had a lot of bruising all over my eyelid. Because it was a large cyst that they had cut out, and I guess it must have bled a fair bit. I don't know. But anyway, it looked a mess, but it's gone. And he did a fabulous job, and I wasn't in any discomfort after the fact. Like, it was great. It was a little sore, but other than that, it was great. Okay. So, that's that. Next thing, FFOs. So, as you all know, if anyone's been watching my videos for any amount of time, or you've been following me on Instagram, you know that I stitched 2 of the Canada samplers by Emma Condon, by Stitch Rovia, for my husband and for my son's best friend's dad. They have been very, very involved in Scouts Canada for a number of years, since our boys were little, really little. So they've gone right through the scouting movement with our boys. They started out as, my husband wasn't a beaver leader, but he started in Cubs. So they were in Cubs, went up through, when the boys were finished Cubs, and went to Scouts. The husbands, the dads followed and became Scout leaders. Then our boys left Scouts and were going into Venturers. We didn't have a Venturer group local here. Well, there's one close, but not the same. So so the boys' dads moved up as Venturer leaders and set up a Venturers club. I think they still have about 10 Venturers that are involved. The boys drop off over the years as they move up through the scouting system, but our boys are still very much involved. And they actually will be aging out next year. Next year is their last year in Venturers. It used to be that they used to be finished up by the age of 17, but now it's 18. They've extended it so that kids who are in their last year of high school in grade 12 can still remain part of the normal scouting movement before they move into adult scouting. Things such as rovers or becoming junior leaders themselves, and being involved in those ways. So they did a big, huge trip to Ottawa last year for Canada's 150th birthday celebrations. They did an exchange with a scout group in Ottawa. Some of our scouts and our venturers from here flew to Ottawa, spent a week canoeing the Rideau Canal and camping and taking in the Canada Day celebrations in the in the country's capital in Canada on Parliament Hill. And then they came home, and 2 weeks later the group from Ottawa came here and spent a week here with our kids. And it was, what an experience, just an amazing experience. So I stitched 2 Canada samplers. I started them last year. The intent was to give them to them probably at the end of the Scout year this year. And Scouting finished up with a camp this year, so there was no big closeout banquet this year. I decided that I would frame up the pieces and give them to the husbands as Father's Day presents. So, gave them to them yesterday. So if you've already seen my Instagram, you've already seen these. I don't have Paul's because I already gave his to him last night. I'll try and insert a couple pictures at the end again. But this is the one I did for my husband. So, I have to stand up because it's too big. Here it is. Oops. So this is, oh, and I'm going to get a horrendous glare. This is the Canada Sampler by Stitchrobia. I framed it myself in a large 20 by 20 shadow box so that some pictures and some of the boys' Scout memorabilia can be put in the box with their piece. So right now it just has a few badges in there and some pictures from when they were little right up to now. There's a whistle in there and a few other things, some badges. But what I'm going to do at the end of the year, or when the boys age out, once they're done with Scouts, or as some people say, well, you're never going to be done with Scouts, but once they're done, I'm just going to lay this back down so I don't drop it. Okay. They said once you're done with Scouts, I can put your neckerchief, like woggles and things like that, I can put them in the shadow box so that they're kept, and yes, and it'll be a nice remembrance piece for them. So dads have them right now. I guess at some point down the road they'll pass them on to the boys whenever. So that was my big FFO this month. I didn't finish anything else this month. I'm stitching, I guess we'll move into whips. I am stitching 2 more quilt blocks for an honor quilt group. I'm still stitching those. I have to get a fire underneath my butt and get those ones finished. Again, it's summer and I got hit with a crafting bug. When Allie left, I just went mental and started stitching everything I could get my hands on. Picked up other crafts. Yeah, it's just a lot going on, a whole lot going on. So, let's get into my whips. I have a lot of whips. This is also my birthday month. I am going to be the ripe old age of 45 in 2 days. And I don't know. I'm enjoying my 40s. I really am. But I don't know. I want to stitch all the things. And it's gotten, I don't know if it's just because it's my birthday month and I'm like, oh, I'm going to do like, you know, whatever I can get my hands on. And then Allie was here and I got all inspired. And we're going to blame it on Allie. Allison, this is all your fault. This is all your fault. So, while she was here, we stitched on a couple of pieces together. So let's start with those. She brought, because she was going to the Flosstube Stitch and Retreat in New Jersey, something easy that she thought she could stitch on was her Big Red Ship, because by Ink Circles, because it's one color, easy to stitch on. So I broke mine out And I have no idea where this was the last time you saw it, so I'm not even going to put in pictures. But this is where it is now. I still have it on my lap stand. It will stay on this lap stand because I'm terrified that I'm going to get the fabric dirty and then I can't wash it because I'm stitching it with red silk from Silks For You. And it's like a, I don't know, it's like a darkish, rustyish kind of red. But I'm afraid that I'm going to get it dirty and I won't be able to wash it. So this is the piece. I know I did almost all of this while Allie was here. Like I think I had done to this part right here. And I did a whole lot of this here. All of this. So we stitched on that for a couple of nights and that's how much I got done. We did a lot of stitching while Allie was here. So that's that. I'll lay that down there. Then her and we started a chart together. She has a thing for William Morris, and so do I. I had, let me see if I can find the picture. Okay, this is just a black and white picture because I printed this off of my computer myself. It's Garden of Delight, which of course this picture does it no justice whatsoever, but you can look it up. It is a Heaven and Earth design, artwork by William Morris. But Allison and I both have this chart, and I said, bring it with you. Why don't we start it together? So the thing was, start together, finish whenever, because this isn't getting finished in a couple of days. I'm stitching this on 18 count white Aida. Hang on. I just got to figure out how to open this up so I can show it, because look, this Aida's huge, right? Because it's a really big piece, and I didn't bother cutting the Aida. So I started it, and this is where I've gotten. So this is page 1. And I got quite a bit done for just stitching on it for that week. So when she left, we started this, and then she left and went to the Flosstube retreat, and I kept stitching on it for a couple of days after she had left. So I got quite a bit done. This is the floral border that's around the outside, and then the interior portion of the chart starts. I'm loving this piece. It's going to be gorgeous. Like, the colors in this are absolutely amazing. And I have to fold this up before I put it away, because otherwise I'm going to get it dirty and then I'm going to not be happy camper. Okay. So that is my William Morris Garden of Delights piece that I started with Allie while she was here. I had so much fun starting that with her and stitching on it. It is a beautiful piece. That is going to be gorgeous when it's done. Okay, then because I got struck with the I'm going to stitch all the things bug, then I went back to my Wrecker Girls piece. And I don't know where it was the last time you saw it, but it was only a month ago. And I am heading into a page finish. So here they are. There's my Wrecker Girls. I worked, this is a page here, and then this is a partial page. So I worked a lot on filling in the confetti for her top, her hair. Her top is like a striped, pattern top that she's wearing, so it's a lot of confetti in that. And then when I got tired of working at the confetti, I started working some of the background because it's larger blocks of color. So that's where this one is. Really looking forward to having this piece finished. And it's getting there. It is getting there. I'm going to go back to working on that one probably in a couple of days. So that's that one. After I stitched on Record Girls, I was like, oh, I want to stitch all the things. And some of the ladies in Australia had a retreat in Australia the same week that Allie was here. And Teresa actually bought this design at the Australia retreat from, I think, one of the cross-stitching shops that they have there. And I have this, and I started it with another lady on Instagram, and her and I were stitching it together for a while. And it's not that I got tired of doing it, because I didn't. It's just that other pieces became a priority for me. I wanted to get the Canada pieces done, and I wanted to focus on my Record Girls piece, and I had to kind of so I took some of my full coverage pieces out of my rotation and kind of stopped with a rotation per se. Mini Bath Time by Haid, Heaven and Earth Designs. So I pulled this out after seeing that Teresa had purchased one. And I have also been following along this other lady that I was stitching with on Instagram. I've been following along her progress, and she's doing phenomenal. Like, she's stitching like a mad person on this. So I pulled this one out and put a few stitches in and worked my way across the top of page 2. So this is 3/4 of page 1, and I stitched all of this here into page 2. And coverage is not too bad. I'm actually doing this one tent stitch. And it was the first time I ever decided to give tent stitch a go. And I don't mind the look of it. It's fine. Coverage is pretty good. I'm stitching at 2/1 tent on 28 count. But that being said, I don't enjoy the tent stitch itself. I much prefer to do full crosses. But yeah. But that is where that piece is. Again, it's one of those start together, I'll finish whenever sort of things. I don't really have a priority on this to get this finished at any point. It's just I enjoy working on it, and it's a lovely piece. It looks so nice. And I really like the colors in it, all the browns and golds, and yeah. So that's where that one is. Told you I stitched a lot of stuff this month. The next thing I worked on was my Death by Cross Stitch. I pulled this out for one of the Friday Off the Grid parties. Caroline from Off the Grid Needle Arts. She has a group on Facebook. I think it's called Friday Off the Grid. And I pulled this out to stitch on it. Again, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have already seen this. This is the very end of the piece. So this border now needs to come straight down here. So I am all the way across. So this is as wide as the piece is going to be. I'm stitching this 1/1 full cross on 25 count antique white Lugana. I'm using DMC 939, which I think is showing up black again in this video. Depending on the lighting, and Allie and I had this discussion while she was here as well. I think it looks a little navy there and a little black there. Maybe black. DMC 939 is actually really, really dark navy. And again, like sometimes when you see it, the light catches it, it looks blue. And other times when the light catches it, it looks black. So, I don't know. But that's where I am. And I stitched, I think this month I stitched, well, I know I stitched from half this flower all the way over here. And that was what I did this month. So this will continue to be my Friday piece. That's the piece I'm going to continue to work on for Fridays. That's that one. Well, this one or my big red ship. One of those two are going to be my Friday piece. Then Friday the 13th, not Friday the 13th, sorry. June the 13th. I just had a brain fart. June the 13th, I pulled out my Plague Doctor by Busby Designs. There is a Facebook group for this as well, for a stitch along. I think it's called Plague Doctor Sal, S-A-L, on Facebook. I don't know why. There's something about this piece that I really like. And my husband really likes it. He thinks it's cool. So I decided that I was going to stitch this piece, but it is a full coverage piece, and I decided I wasn't going to stitch it full coverage. I'm only doing the darkest gray that's in the chart and black. I copy dyed fabric using Vanna's Bake and Basted technique, and I'm not too worried about the acids in the coffee or the tea because this is not going to be an heirloom piece. Like, I don't expect this to be around 100 years from now, but here it is. So you can see some of the fabric showing through, which I like. I like that look. So that's why I'm not doing it as full coverage. So this month, the 13th, I filled in a chunk here, this chunk here on the bottom. And you can see I have all the gray done on this side. I'm just filling in black now. So every time I pull this out, I'm just doing the black. So there we go. That's my Plague Doctor. And last but not least is Jay's Folk Witch, which is still on my Q-Snap because I'm still working on it. I'm going to continue to work on this one today before I put it away. I am down to these 2 pages here. How can I best show this? Here we go. So I'm stitching these 2 pages simultaneously. That's why it's taking me longer to get to a page finish. There's a lot of confetti in her hair and in here, this part right here. That's what's taking me so long to get these page finishes knocked out on this side. There's a little more over this way, but that's the width of the whole piece. There's no more over here. So once I get this done, I'm going to start working my way down on either side, all the way down, all the way down. And then lastly, because I think that's going to be the fun part and it will keep me motivated, I'm going to go back and stitch the pages above to start filling in her face and the rest of her gorgeous red hair. I just love that hand. It just looks so, I don't know, there's something about her glove that I really like, the fingerless glove, the coffee mug. There you go. So that is where Jay's piece is, Jay's Folk Witch. Really enjoying this. This is actually stitched on 25 count. I'm doing this one 1/1 full crosses as well. And I really enjoy this Gecko Rouge kit. So if you're on the fence about buying a Gecko Rouge kit, don't be. It stitches up really, really nicely. The fabric is a bit on the stiff side, like it's stiff like Ada would be stiff, but it's fine to stitch with. Like, I have no problem stitching on it. I don't mind stitching on it at all. And that is all my cross stitch done. Now I'm going to move into knitting. Yes, you heard that right. Knitting. I don't knit. I am not a knitter. I never professed to be a knitter. I crochet a fair bit, and a lot actually. I crochet a lot, but I don't knit. And I got struck with the I want to learn how to knit socks bug. So in amongst stitching all of this stuff, I decided it was going to be a good idea for me to learn how to knit socks. Now that summer's coming on and we're still having like 4 degrees of weather at the 18th of June, I thought it would be okay to stitch wool socks. So I knew that Tina from Simply in Stitches had done a sock knitting tutorial on her YouTube channel. She uses a 9-inch cable, like a 9-inch circular needle, instead of using DPNs, double pointed needles. And I went down to the shop and I was going to buy a 9-inch cable, like a 9-inch needle. I spoke to the lady at the knitting shop, because we actually have a lovely store here called Cast On, Cast Off. And I spoke to her and she said, no, I don't think you want to use a 9-inch needle. She said, like, it is really fiddly to work with. And for someone learning, you might find it hard. You might find it difficult. And I said, well, maybe I would. I don't know. So she had a 9-inch needle there. And she said, it's not something I carry in the store regularly, but I can order one in for you if you want. Have a look at mine. She took it out. I held it in my hand. And I was like, yeah. That's going to be, I think I'm going to find that difficult, like working the stitches and moving them around the needle as I'm going. So she said you could try the same size needle, like the same millimeter size needle, but try a longer cable and use what's called the magic loop method. And the pattern that Tina was suggesting using, it's called My Favorite Vanilla Socks. It's a free pattern by the Unapologetic Knitter, if you go on her blog. That pattern actually is done for magic loop. So I said, and I'm a crocheter, so I'm used to, like, in my head, I can visualize using a loop, like splitting your socks and working them side by side, but it's still creating a loop. Like I can visualize how that cable works and you twist your stitches around for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, it made sense to me. So I went out and I got the needles and I got some space, just some cheap, like, what do you call them? Stitch markers. And I bought just a ball of like cheap sock wool. I didn't go expensive or get anything fancy or hand dyed, or because I don't even know if I was going to be able to knit a pair of socks. Okay, like this could be a hopeless cause. So what I purchased was Lion brand Sock Ease, and it's a 75% wool, 25% nylon. Super fine sock yarn. So that's what I purchased. It's actually called Sock Ease. I don't know if that's going to focus or not on that. And it's just a mixed color yarn. This was a 400 meters, 100 gram ball. And I still have gobs left. Like I could probably get another pair of socks out of that. I probably use 50 grams for my sock. I will probably use half the ball. And I think that's because I knit the smaller size because I don't have very large feet. And my knitting is a little tight. Like I think that's just because I'm learning. So I have 2 socks. Da, da, da. They are done. There's 1. There's 2. I have already worn them. They fit. So I did a couple inch cuff, a rib, did the leg, did the heel, just like the pattern calls for. I think I have hair stuck to them. turn the heel, stitch the leg again. You can see a little bit of laddering that's being caused by my magic loop on this one, but it's not so bad on this one. So the second sock that I knit turned out better. I guess that leads to practice makes perfect. So this one's a little, and this one I also noticed when I picked up the heel stitches. On my other one, there seemed to be a little bit of a gap right here when I picked up the stitches for the heel, and on this one there isn't. The gap filled in quite nicely. And then these socks are knit from cuff down, and you use the Kitchener stitch to finish off the toe. So yeah, I was pleased. So I was very pleased that I could actually knit a pair of socks. After wearing them, I decided that personally I think I would like my socks to have a shorter leg, more like an ankle sock, or what us Newfoundlanders would call a vamp. Yeah, I want vamps. I don't want like a full leg sock. So I have since stitched on or cast on another pair of socks, because I'm going mental here now, right? In this funky color. This is a brunette sock yarn. Again, I didn't want to buy anything expensive because I'm still learning. It's a really soft yarn. I think it's the same sort of blend though. I think it's like 75% wool and 25% nylon or something. It's a nice colorway, but I'm knitting just an ankle sock. So I did an 1.5 inch cuff instead of 2 inches, and instead of doing 1 knit 1 purl rib, I'm doing 2 knit 2 purl rib. Then I knit the leg, only 2 inches of a leg. Then I did the heel. Oh, there's my tail. I did the heel, and then I worked down the sock. And I just need to, so I'm finished the sock now. I just need to close up the toe with the Kitchener stitch. And this is the magic loop. This is my circular needle that I'm knitting on. So you basically knit on your 2 needles, and you can pull, sorry, I'll just quickly show you here what I mean for anyone who's not a knitter like me. So you've got your stitches, your 2 sets of stitches on your needles. You pull this needle, you pull your back needle out, and you use it to knit the stitches that are on your front needle. And then you turn it around and you do the same thing on the other side. You pull out, your front needle then becomes your back needle, you pull it out, and you stitch off of this one. I found that made so much sense to me, and the longer cable gave me a lot more room to manipulate how I was working the sock. Like I could actually sit comfortably and my arms were comfortable, and I wasn't having to stitch this little tiny thing in my hands. This was much nicer, I thought. But I did use Tina's video a lot to get me through the pattern, to get me to figure out how to turn the heel. I followed along with what she was doing. I only had to modify what she was doing a little bit to accommodate my 2 needle magic loop. And this one, no ladder really on the sides, so my stitches are pretty good. Where I picked up the heel stitches, pretty good. I mean, for a beginner, I think I'm pretty chuffed with myself, to be honest with you. There's my heel, there's my gusset for the foot. Then it works down into the foot, and there's my decreases for my toe. Yeah, I love this. So this is my 3rd sock that I've knit. This is just an ankle sock, which I like better. I've already tried it on. It fits nice. And I need to stitch up the second one for this pair. And then I'm moving on to another project. I'm going to try my hand at knitting a shawl. We'll see how that goes. I can crochet a shawl, definitely, no problem. I know I can do that. But I want to try knitting one. because I really, really love some of the patterns, and I really love some of the yarns that are out there for knitting shawls, and I want to try one just for the hell of it. So yeah, so I'm going to I'm going to tie this one off, or whatever you call that, end it off, cast it off my needles, and this was 50-gram ball, and again, I only used about half this ball, so I think I can get another sock out of this one, and I have another 50-gram ball of this, because most of the sock patterns call for, oh, you might need 100 grams, I think. But again, it's depending upon your foot size and whatnot. My daughter now wants a pair of these. So I have to see if I can get the same yarn, and then I will do a pair for her. But she has much larger feet than I, so I will probably need all the yarn for her. And that's it. That's my crafting. I didn't do any crochet this month, and I didn't do any rug hooking this month. And like I said, I haven't started my English paper piecing, but that's next on my list of things that I want to try. So English paper piecing is coming up, I think. Yeah. So maybe in my next video I might have some English paper piecing done. We'll see how that goes. No promises. I hope everyone has a beautiful and lovely summer. I will do my best to maintain my videos through the summer. My upload schedule may be a little sporadic. I usually try to do one video a month. I'll try and keep that going. I just can't say, oh, well, it's going to be, you know, the last day of the month or the first day of the month, or I have no idea. Don't really have a whole lot of plans for vacation time this summer. I have vacation time booked off from work, but we don't have any plans to go anywhere. It's just going to be, I think, a relaxing summer, a nice summer, enjoying the outdoors and our fire pit and our backyard, and the weather ever warms up, we'll get to enjoy all of that. But that's my plan. I hope you all have a fabulous summer. I hope to hear from you. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to subscribe. I'd love to see you back. Hopefully you've enjoyed my video, and have a good summer, and we'll speak with you soon. Bye.